What's up, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages? It's Wake Up Mintzy coming to you not live from the Barstool Sports office here in Chicago because we're never live, but fired up to be here. It's beautiful. Well, it's not a beautiful Thursday. It's like a cold November rain Thursday. But you know what? The vibes are high, and I'm joined by, I got to say, one of my favorite Barstool characters. Gotten to be good friends with him in the last year. Always fun to do content with him. He's always bringing a good, fresh energy. You know, we talk a lot off the set, too. Nicky Smokes, what's up? Good morning.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have you on the show. Tyler Moody is always holding down the fort in Louisiana. Drank some Stella Blue to start my morning. Got the Dude Wipes out. Let it rip with Dude Wipes. Going to have some holiday flavors coming soon. It'll change your life. You'll never need crappy, dry, scratchy toilet paper again.
Nope.
It's an amazing product. Let it rip with Dude Wipes. Amazon, Target, Walmart, and all over the World Wide Web. Bunch of stuff to get into at the start, and we're going to talk some football. First of all, thanks again to Nicky Smokes for joining us. I just met John Gruden.
Yeah, that was sick, right?
Yes. So I walked into the office, and I'm so oblivious. Like, I mean, I know that, like, everybody, like, laughs, like, oh, you know, this is like an act. Like, you know, Mintz can't be that dumb. I guess I missed the whole thing that we hired John Gruden.
Yeah, and
it was like a huge thing yesterday, and I didn't even know it.
Well, no, it came out this morning, and then within 30 minutes of John Gruden having a job at Barstool, you try to get him to quit and be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. That's as mincy as it gets.
Well, okay. So I walked in, and that was Dave and Big Cat and Nicky Smokes and John Gruden were all talking, and I kind of got at the edge of it and didn't want to, like, you know, be too annoying. But John Gruden has visited the Saints a bunch the last couple of years. He's been down there at practice. There's been all this stuff going on. So I was like, is there like a 1 out of 100 shot you're like the next coach of the Saints? And then Dave Portnoy asked me, he's like, well, Mintzy, we just hired him. Would you rather him be the Saints coach than Barstool? And like first I said Barstool, but I was like, you know what? Barstool's already rolling and doing fine. The Saints need all the damn help we can get. We're 3-7. You know, I feel like the Saints might need him more than Barstool, but I was like, but welcome to the Stool. We're thrilled to have you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be awesome having him in the cave on Thursday nights. He's going to be in the cave, well, not in the cave, the PMT studio tonight for, who's playing tonight? The Birds?
Commander, well, we got a great PMT stream because it's Commanders for PFT and the Eagles. For Max. So, huge Thursday night game. Philadelphia, 3.5-point favorite on DraftKings, over under of 48. 8-2 Eagles, 7-3 Commanders. So, top of the NFC East. Fun match. Great quarterback matchup with Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts. So excited to watch that. Check out that PMT stream. Before we get into more football, let's talk about last night. Barstool Comedy Night at the Laugh Factory. Stu Feiner with one of the shortest stand-ups of all time.
Yeah.
I left at 10:50 and he was still going.
Yeah, so did I.
I tried to stay. I was trying to stay to the end. I had to be up here at like 8 a.m. today. Like, it hit like 10:50. I mean, he'd been going like an hour and 40 minutes, and I was like, okay.
Once he said, let me fast forward to 1980, I tapped Annika and I said, look, I love Still, but we need to get the fuck out of here. We're going to be here all night.
Yeah.
He probably kept going till probably midnight.
Oh.
If he was telling his whole life story.
Dude, he got into all of it. He was talking about, you know, when him and Sandy started in 10th grade. I mean, it was great, though. He did an awesome job carrying the crowd. I would expect nothing less from Stu, but, like, I mean, I feel like are we sure that set's ended yet?
No, it still might be going, honestly.
I mean, it was wild.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was 11 o'clock at night, and he was only
on a Wednesday.
And he was still in the 1980s. So that means he had another 40 years to go through.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
But fun night. PFT hosted it. Nick Traney, Mook, shout out Chris Bader for making it all happen. We have a great relationship with Laugh Factory Chicago, the once-a-month comedy show nights. Great Barstool turnout. Good to see you and, Hannah and Annika and Ella and all the, we had a good turnout.
Everyone was out there. Yeah, it was great. We had a great time.
Yeah, got to see Mr. Making Money and Megan.
Love him.
Always good to see Mr. Making Money. Don't get to see him a ton anymore. So, fun to see him out. Glad to see the babysitters let him have a night out.
Yep.
Yeah, but great time at Laugh Factory last night. And love just the reach of Barstool. I mean, it's comedy, it's sports, it's gambling. You just never know. All right, we're going to get into the football now. A lot of stuff to get into. So, Smokes, obviously anybody that follows Nicky Smokes, massive Miami Dolphins fan. You were talking to Gruden a minute ago. That was funny, talking about Tua.
Yeah.
And you asked him, would you rather have Tua or Drake May?
Yeah, and he said Drake May, which really rubbed me the wrong way. Because if they have their quarterback situation figured out, what is it, 4 or 5 years after Tom Brady, and now the Dolphins are going on. Marino retired in what, 99?
Yeah.
And we're going on 25 years, and we still don't have a definite answer at quarterback. That would really piss me off. Now, I don't agree with Gruden. Who am I to disagree? He's an NFL head coach, legend, knows way more ball than I'll ever know. But I don't see that, oh, my God, Drake May's a guy. Do you see that? Do you think he's a certified, killer already?
I think it's early, but I think there's been positive signs. But, he's only started 3 or 4 games. And so I'm not willing to say certified killer. But the touchdown drive that got the Tennessee game to overtime, especially the 4th down play when he kept it alive and that was a hell of a play.
Great play.
And I think the thing with Drake May, he ran for over 100 yards against Tennessee. He's mobile. And so I think it's in current football, I'm not saying you have to be able to run.
Oh, I'll say that. You have to be able to run.
But, you have to be able to at least run some. And he's got that ability. And I think another thing that Gruden was talking about with the Drake May thing, he's on a rookie contract. And Tua just got $167 million guaranteed. And
crazy.
So when you do have a quarterback on a rookie contract, you can clean up your cap. You can spend money on linemen, D linemen, edge rushers, corners, and kind of clean up your roster. And so I think a lot of it has to do with the contract situation.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. My only gripe with Tua, aside from him not being healthy, is once the pocket breaks down, I feel like the play's already over. It's done.
Yeah.
The second the pocket collapses, the play's done.
Well, I want to talk. So this Miami team, because they're always fat. It's funny because me and you talk about Dolphins football a bit in the office. I'm actually kind of a roadie of them. I think a few things on them going into the year. First of all, Mike McDaniel, the biggest mess up I've ever seen, and Gruden mentioned it a second ago. How you give Tua 167 guaranteed? He's got through one season healthy, and you won a $100 bet off me last year. Shout out, because I didn't believe it was possible.
I got the 1 year in the 5 years.
Yeah, but how do you not get some kind of a backup quarterback when his injury history is bigger than my stomach?
Right. It's not a McDaniel thing. That's a Chris Greer thing, or GM, and he's just completely incompetent. Not only did he fail to bring us a backup quarterback, that anyone with half a brain would be if any team in the NFL needs a good backup, it's the Miami Dolphins. Not only did he not do that, but when reporters asked him about the offensive line and the fans' concerns about the offensive line, he chuckled and said, we're not as worried about it as you guys are. And that's what happened.
Well, yeah, and look, you've got the old Saint, Taron Armstead, who's incredible talent. It's just when's he play, and so he's great when he's on the field, but that's literally half the time.
That's Chris Greer's formula. Good player that does not play more than 10 games a year. That's what he's looking for. Anytime he's evaluating the draft, it needs to be major injury, good talent when on the field. You're a Miami Dolphin.
Well, okay, so Miami right now, I actually looked at it. I think they're the best 3-6 team I've ever seen in pro football, because a lot of those losses were because Tua was out. You got a defense that's 13th, top 10 defense, super underrated. Anthony Weaver, the D-line coach for the Ravens, is the defensive coordinator. Oh, dude,
he's been great.
So good. And then you look at the team, it's tantalizing with Tyreek and Waddle, and then A-Chain's turning into the new Christian McCaffrey with how much he catches the ball. Jonas Smith's giving you this Tyreek thing. So it came out last week. He has a wrist injury from when he got handcuffed.
I don't know. He got handcuffed a while ago.
I know. I guess he's trying to come up. Is that an excuse for the fact that he hadn't had more than 60 yards in a game since week 1?
Tyreek just loves to troll.
Okay.
He's came out and said that, so I don't know if that was a report or if Tyreek Hill tweeted that. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But if he's using that as an excuse when that happened, I think it was the first week of the season.
It was week 1. No, yeah. He got handcuffed, and then he did the Selly when he caught the bomb touchdown against Jacksonville in the end zone.
That was great.
Which was one of the funniest moments I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. But back to your point, the Dolphins being the best 3-6 team you've ever seen, yeah, they probably are. And if they had Tua, they probably wouldn't be 3-6. But I was looking ahead at their schedule. We have the Raiders this week. We're 7-point favorites. And then we're home against the Patriots. We should win that game, which would put us at 5-6 going into our Thanksgiving game at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. Now, if they win that game and they're 6-6, they can make the playoffs.
So I actually looked at this bet, and I love DraftKings for our gaming. Miami plus 350 to make the playoffs right now.
That's a great.
Well, no. Here's the wild card situation. Right now, you look at the AFC, you got 3 wild card spots. Whoever doesn't win the AFC North, Ravens or Steelers, is in. Chargers 6-3, probably in. The last wild card spot, it's Denver 5-5, Bengals 4-6, and Miami 3-6.
Damn.
Miami has a weaker schedule. coming up. Like you said, you still play the Pats, the Jets.
Jets twice, Raiders, Pats,
Yeah.
Browns, and the Niners.
No, so I thought about taking it this week. It's just the only thing is like, can Tua stay on the field?
Yeah.
But I thought it had good value. And I actually looked at it on the long shot. Miami's 100-1 Super Bowl right now, but I don't think.
No, we're not winning.
No, well, the problem is with Miami when it comes to like playoff stuff, and y'all almost won the division last year. You lost the Week 17 Sunday night game to Buffalo. If they ever won the division and had home games come through Miami, they could do it. Right. But the problem with that AFC, you're never going to win on the road in KC, Baltimore, or Buffalo. Ever. And you saw it in the Miami-KC playoff game last year. It's just like Miami's not going to ever win those games.
Be fair to them, it was negative 23 degrees. Like, we were dead before the game even started. But even if it's 50 degrees, it's too cold for this team. So you're right. Yeah, I'll retweet.
Yeah, no, I agree. But either way, I just think y'all have a good team. And so I don't know. I feel like even at 3-6, I think y'all are pretty good. The only thing, it's like every time I convince myself Miami's good. Like I was watching the game Monday night. I was watching your defense dominate the Rams. I was looking at all these odds second quarter. And it's like every time I think you're good, Tua throws something off his back foot, or he takes a 15-yard sack, or he throws a bad pick. It's like infuriating.
It's the worst. He's very inconsistent, I'd say. Like, he'll have 4 or 5 plays where your jaw drops. You're like, oh, my God, what a great throw. And then, like I said, the second the pocket collapses and he has to scramble or throw off his back foot, you're like, how the fuck is this guy in the NFL?
Yeah, it's crazy. But I still love him. So where are you on Mike McDaniel right now? Because I still love him. I know there's a lot to him, but like I think the play calling's like super elite. I'm a big fan of the Shanahan tree.
Nah, the play calling is dropped off drastically since he first took over, in my opinion. I am not as high on him as I used to be. I thought after his first 2 years, I said, okay, we have our coach for the next 15 years. Now I really don't know how I feel about him, to be honest with you. I personally, I'm kind of over this nice guy, haha, funny bullshit. I want a savage. I want like a Mike Vrabel type of head coach. A Dan Campbell type of head coach. By the way, he was a former Miami Dolphin head coach.
Kneecap soup.
Yep. Like, I want someone that installs that grit. Deshaun Elliott, former safety of ours, plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers now, came out and said that last year's Miami team was soft as fuck, and that since they play in Miami, they'll never win a Super Bowl because everyone's worried about going to the clubs and doing all this other shit. And I think there's some truth to that, which is why we need a guy who doesn't look like a coke dealer in Miami, but a guy like a Dan Campbell, Mike Vrabel, who will keep their players in line and have them fucking ready to take someone's head off. We haven't had that.
Do you like that plus 350 though? I think it's possible.
Yeah,
I really do, man. I think it's wide open because like Denver, I mean, Sean Payton's squeezing every drop of talent, everything he can out of them. And if they would have made that field goal last week, I'd feel differently at 6-4.
I can't.
The Bengals are good, but their schedule's murder. That AFC North,
sucks.
Yeah, their AFC North. They're at Chargers Sunday night. That's a brutally tough game too.
My question about the Chargers is like, is that team for real?
I think what they are is Harbaugh's made. He's cleaned them up. He's made their identity tough, physical. They play defense. I think they like beat the teams they're supposed to beat and win all the games they're supposed to win, but I don't think they're like elite. But I think they're headed for like 10-7.
I think they've had a very easy schedule,
but they never lose the games they're supposed to win.
Correct. They played the Raiders, beat them. Panthers beat them. They lost to the Steelers, lost to the Chiefs, beat the Broncos before they got hot. Lost to the Cardinals, beat the Saints, beat the Browns.
Yeah,
they
win the games they're supposed to win.
Like they have a tough schedule coming up. They have Bengals, Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs.
Wow.
Bucks.
They could fall off.
Broncos, Pats. Yeah, like they definitely can fall off. So I kind of like that bet. Dolphins to make the playoffs.
Yeah, plus 350 on DraftKings. Pretty solid value there. Also, I feel like I always love asking you about your college career because mine was a winding road, but mine was only with one school. Mm-hmm. You went to every school in Florida.
Yeah, FSU, FAU, UCF, and Florida.
And you graduated from Florida though, so you're a Gator.
Yep, go Gators.
Go Gators. Up and down year, but fun one Saturday.
Yeah,
real fun one. 2:30 LSU coming in. Those LSU Florida games are always nuts. That's one of the most underrated. They played every year on the crossover, and that's kind of one of those you don't think massive rivalry, but it is. And I'll say this: best college football game I've ever been to was LSU at Florida in 2007 when Tebow. That was the year LSU won the title. LSU students found out Tim Tebow's cell phone number that week and left him 12,000 voicemails. Tebow runs in the end zone second quarter into the student section and threw up the phone thing. And then the fourth quarter, LSU went for it on fourth down 5 times, went 5 for 5 and won.
Yep.
I think that's the best college football game I've ever been to.
The greatest college football game I ever went to was Florida at LSU. This was the year that Joe Burrow won the national championship. They were number 3 in the country. We were number 5. It was a night game in Death Valley. And we could be this distance from each other, and if you were talking to me, I couldn't hear you. That's how loud it was in that stadium. Hands down, the greatest sporting event I've ever been to in my entire life. Nothing even comes close to it.
Yeah, those Death Valley, when they turn it up, those SEC night games, it's only like 2 or 3 a year. And but yeah, the Ole Miss one was like that a few weeks ago, where I was down on the field and I literally couldn't.
It was unbelievable. But yeah,
I feel like the Bama players weren't struggling to hear last Saturday.
No.
They just beat the shit out of them. And I'm curious, though. LSU Florida this week, I think DJ Lagway, the 5-star freshman, trying to come back off the hamstring injury. This is a fascinating game. There's a subplot. So when Billy Napier got hired at Florida, he wanted the LSU job because he was at ULF yet, and they passed on him for Brian Kelly, and then he got the Florida job. So I feel like he wants to beat LSU.
Well, he better, because he looked like he was ready for vacation last week against Texas. Now, I know he was playing with a third-string quarterback, but I truly believe Florida would have beaten Georgia had we had DJ Lagway that whole game. Like, we had them on the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
Even with the third-string quarterback, we tied it up late before that interception, and then it kind of looked like they ran away with it. But that was a great game, and like I said, we should have beat them. I do think we're either going to beat LSU or Ole Miss.
See, I think what's coming, my prediction, I'll make a bold prediction. I've been hot, man. There ain't nobody hotter in football in this company than I am right now. I don't think it's close. I think Florida's going to, if Lagway's healthy, they win Saturday. I think this is like a Super Bowl for Napier. The week after LSU, you play Bama is always tough because it's such a physical thing. And Florida's got 4 wins right now. They're 4-5. If they beat LSU, I think they lose to Ole Miss, and then they beat Florida State, and they make a bowl.
Team,
That's my prediction for what's coming.
And look, as much as I don't think Billy Napier should be the head coach of the Florida Gators, if he does win 6 games with the team that he had, with the schedule that they went through.
Yeah, their over-under is 4.5.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think he's done a good job with what he's had, and apparently DJ loves him. So
no, I think that Florida made an interesting move last week when they came out and said Napier's our guy for next year. But I actually saw the strategy in it, because the whole thing in football now is the keeping the players in the portal. Well, he recruited DJ Lagway. Lagway's his guy. You got a 5-star quarterback that loves him. It's only a freshman. They came out and committed to Napier because they knew Lagway was hurt, and they knew it was going to be a real tough stretch without him with Texas, LSU, Ole Miss. So they wanted to get ahead of it in case they got blown out like they did at Texas. So because the heat was coming, and I think it's the right move. I mean, his buyout's like $31 million.
Yeah.
And I think if Lagway will come back, and I think Florida, the thing is, as bad as it looked last week, I think they improved a shit ton this year. I mean, I know the Miami game was bad, but October, you blew out UCF, you blew out Kentucky, overtime at Tennessee. The defense improved a lot.
They should have won that Tennessee game. They went out of their way to lose that game.
Yeah, but I don't think they're that bad. And I think, like I said, if Lagway's healthy, I think they beat LSU. I do. They're 4.5-point home dog.
I think they'll be really good next year.
Yeah,
I think they'll compete in the SEC next year.
No, I think they're – look, the thing that's weird about Florida is the standard's so high because of Spurrier and Meyer. But I think you give Napier one more year with a full year of Lagway and evaluate. I think that's what you have to do.
I agree.
All right, so some DraftKings stuff. We love being DK partners. I've been drawing up parlays. All right, I'm down to 8 in the Stool vior competition for a $25K free bet. Smokes, got a lot of options on the touchdown scoring Sunday.
You do.
I've got to pick someone Sunday. The people I've used so far, I've still got a lot of options because I went long shot David Njoku the first week trying to win the $500 free bet. And then I went kind of long shot Taysom Hill the second week and did win a $500 free bet. Last week I went James Conner against the Jets. So I still got Derrick Henry at Pittsburgh, Christian McCaffrey against Seattle, any of the Lions, whether it be...
I was just going to say, I would pick one of the Lions backs. I would just go with Montgomery.
He's minus 250 this week to score a touchdown.
Who gives a fuck? This is Stool vior.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. All I want to do is survive. We're at a point now, we're down to 8. Amon-Ra St. Brown's caught touchdowns 7 games in a row. That's a thought.
The receivers are always a little sweaty,
Yeah.
though, especially with the lines. Once they get inside the 5, they're running that bitch into the end zone.
Well, my only concern on that is just like the Montgomery and Gibbs thing. Montgomery's minus
Montgomery's that power back.
Yeah, he's minus 250 and Gibbs is minus 145. So I think I'm leaning Montgomery.
Yeah, you should.
I think that's the way I'm leaning right now. But the Christian McCaffrey one's interesting too, because I know he didn't score last week, but he's getting full usage. Seattle's got a bad D. That over-under's high. So I think I'm between McCaffrey and Montgomery. Who would you go with?
I would go with Montgomery.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a big debate. I know there are 8 left. It's like Biz, me, Big T, Minahan, Max, a few others.
Well, out of that list, I hope you win.
Thank you. Like I said, man, I'm so hot right now. I feel like
I wouldn't be surprised if Mintzy takes down Stool Vior at all.
I wouldn't either. The way things are looking, I'm feeling like I'm getting pretty hot. So far, also, so this weekend, what? Or do you have any? You went to Tallahassee last weekend. Do you have any more trips coming up?
No, actually, yeah, I'm going to Turkey the day after Thanksgiving.
People might know already, but what are you going to Turkey for?
So me, White Sox Dave, Rudy, Eddie, Ken Jack. There might be one other person. Obviously, we're going with Wonton Don. We're going to get hair transplants.
Going to Turkey. The funniest part is y'all are going to Turkey around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the day after.
I mean,
turkey and turkey.
Yeah. But most people eat turkey on Thanksgiving. You're going to Turkey to get hair plugs. I
never really thought of
hair plugs as a Thanksgiving thing.
No. But I need it bad, so I'm very excited for this trip.
I don't think when you got the beard, when you got the facial hair and the shaved head, I think it's a good look for you.
Yeah, but I want my hair, man. I'm too young to be bald.
Yeah, you're 24, 25?
25.
Damn, dude, yeah. I'm jealous of you. I'm 41. But I feel like I'm aging good. I feel like I look 35.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So far, Barstool-wise, how are you enjoying Chicago? I know you've been here a year, but it seems like it's going well for you.
Yeah, I love this city, man. I really didn't know how I would adapt to it being from South Florida, but yeah, I love it here. I really do. I have no desire to go back home, so as long as they keep renewing my contract, I'll gladly live in this city.
Yeah, and you got renewed this year.
Yeah, I did. Shout out Big Cat, shout out Dave, shout out me for doing enough to get re-signed.
Yeah, hey man, there's a lot to be said for that. I re-upped a couple months ago too. I'm pumped up, loving being here. All right, before I let you go, last thing, gambling wise, do you have any game? I'm gonna pull it up. Any games that are sticking out to you this weekend? Because I always enjoy the smoke gambling stuff.
Yeah.
We can go NFL.
NFL.
I know you're more of an NFL guy.
I got my eyes on this Chiefs Bills game, to be honest with you.
Who do you like? I don't see how you can not like the Chiefs.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm getting points with Mahomes.
That's what I'm saying. Like until he always finds a way, man.
But here's the thing, though. That game is going to mean so much to Buffalo to beat them that I think I'm going to end up taking Buffalo on the money line, just because it's not a playoff game. This is
Bills have beaten them, so they play every year because
they beat them in Arrowhead, I believe, last year.
Well, they beat them twice in Arrowhead. So what they play every year because they both win their divisions every year. So it's that first place thing. And the Bills have won the regular season game a couple of times. They've never won the playoff game, obviously.
Right, this is like the Bills Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That they get KC in Buffalo, 4:25 kick through Eastern time. That place is going to be buzzing. It's basically a night game.
Yeah, and so Buffalo's 8-2, KC's 9-0. A win here gives them a shot at home field.
Yeah,
a win here
and low-key, the Dolphins need Buffalo to win so we can keep our undefeated streak to ourselves, because no one else has done it. Pats came close. They choked it away in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm on I just can't, man. KC getting plus money. It's like one of those things. Buffalo could beat them 38-10, and I wouldn't even be mad if I bet KC.
No, I hear you.
Some other ones I'm running through it. Green Bay, 5.5 at Chicago. Look,
that line sounds too easy, man.
I know. I don't like laying road favorites, but Green Bay never. They always beat the Bears.
They kill them.
They never lose to the Bears. Detroit feels like a big ass whooping. 13's a ton in pro football, but Mac Jones going. I think Jared Goff has a real good bounce back game off the 5-pick game. Like I think that's kind of going to be the thing in that game. Vikings are 6 in Tennessee. It's 39.5. I like under in this game.
Yep.
Vikings offense has fallen off a cliff since they've had the Darisaw left tackle injury. He scored 12 points against Jacksonville, 21 against Indy. I know the Sam Darnold thing was like an awesome story beginning of the year, but it kind of feels like water's finding its level a little bit.
I agree. That Ravens laying 3 in Pittsburgh is crazy to me.
Yeah, so that okay, talking about that one. I just bet Tomlin every time they're an underdog.
Every time he's an underdog at home, he's like an 80%.
Yeah, but he just as an underdog, they went outright like 70%. So that makes me lean Pittsburgh. I actually like under here a lot.
Yeah.
And I know both teams have been scoring, and Russ has had them in the high 20s. But when has the Ravens-Steelers ever been a shootout?
Never.
I mean, literally, there's been like one. I remember when it was like Big Ben and Le'Veon and Antonio Brown were still rolling. There was like a 31-27 game once. Every other game is 16-13 or 2017.
No, I agree.
And they know everything about each other.
If there's any defense that would stop the Ravens' rushing attack, I think it'd be Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I think Derrick Henry's a no-go because of that on Stool vior. I think a lot of people – he scored every week this year, but I think a lot of people are just going to take him blind. I think this is the week to – like, I kind of think –
fade him?
Yeah, and just hope a lot of people take him.
Yeah.
It's kind of my thoughts. But I think – what do you think about Steelers money line and under parlay?
It's got to pay what, like plus 200?
They'll pay something better than that. Well, it'd probably be like 3-1, 350.
Yeah.
I can see, like, I've been doing a lot of stuff, like adjusting over-unders and yardage. Like, I might bring the over-under from 48 to, like, 41.5 and go Steelers money line and hope they win 2016.
Yeah.
Because I bet that would be like 6 or 7-1. That's something I'd look at. You mentioned Miami, 7-point favorite home against the Raiders. Raiders are off a bye. Miami played Monday night. Stephen Shea was beaking on here yesterday that he thought the Raiders were going to win because the rest advantage. I ain't going near that far.
No.
Miami's tough at home.
I think Christian Wilkins is out for
Yeah,
them,
he is, because that was going to be a fun thing.
That would have been a homecoming game for him. I love him. I miss him to death. But I think we should smoke them. I think they just announced who's starting for them.
Is it Aiden O'Connell or is it Minshew?
It's Minshew.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it matters. Yeah, Miami's defense. I like them in fantasy a lot this year. Rams this week. Rams about 4.5 in New England. I sort of think New England, this Drake May thing. The Rams had a Monday night game, cross-country trip, early game. I mean, I don't know if I trust the Rams laying 4.5.
Nah, fuck the Pats. I ain't betting them.
That's fair. Colts are at Jets. Going back to Anthony Richardson, which I think is like, I mean, you can't really go right, but you might as well. Like, if you're not going anywhere at 4-6 or whatever they are, I think
give the young kid the reps.
The one thing, the Jets' run defense stinks.
Yeah, they do.
So I think Taylor. I thought about Taylor for Stool vior, but it's just God, they struggle to score with Richardson too much to take him.
And he's always injured. That's a tough game. I mean, Jets season is dead, right? 3-7.
Yeah, and they keep laying these freaking Jets
every year. They're favorite.
Vegas has a strong. How are they laying 2 at Arizona? I had that thing. I had it at Arizona -3 last week.
Crazy.
The Mets lines. Cleveland -1 at New Orleans. Jameis revenge game. Look, I'm a rose-colored positive guy. The Saints win over last week is not a Saints are back.
Right.
That was a rivalry game. Fired up for the new interim. It was a perfect storm. The records never matter against Saints Falcons. The Saints are still horrible. And I think just because they won that Atlanta game, don't act like they're back. They're not back.
I think Cleveland's going to win that
Cleveland's
game.
off a bye, too.
Yeah.
Looking at that. I like the Niners by 6.5 at home over Seattle.
I like that.
I just think, look, every year, there's been a lot of years where Shanahan starts 3-4, 4-3, and they just turn it on late. And now they got McCaffrey back. I think that's what you're about to see here.
Yeah, and the Seahawks are just the most undisciplined football team I've ever seen in my life.
And they can't stop the pass.
And they can't score inside the red zone.
No, they don't have a running game at all. Falcons at Denver. Falcons plus 2.5. My thoughts on this, I'm looking at Cousins, Mooney, and London unders because Cousins is not the same outdoors. London's banged up. I think this could be they could struggle throwing the ball. So that could be a same-game parlay situation.
I like the Broncos to win that game.
Yeah, I need to see the weather report. I'm hoping the weather's really crappy in Denver. But Sean Payton also hates the Falcons.
Bell Nix looked good.
Dude, he's looking kind of good, man.
I know.
I can't believe 35-yarder last week.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. We mentioned Chiefs-Bills. Finally, Sunday night, Bengals plus 1.5 at the Chargers. This is a fascinating one, like you said, because the Chargers haven't beaten anybody good.
Right.
Bengals are one of the best 4-6 teams I've ever seen.
They are
Burrow
the
and
best
Chase are
4-6
on
team.
fire.
They're probably 2 plays away from being 6-4.
Yeah, all those Ravens games, both of them.
And the Chiefs game.
Oh, and the Chiefs game. They could have 7-8 wins.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't count them out. And then Texans should kill Dallas Monday night. Dallas is done.
They are horrible.
No, and if they go Trey Lance, I mean, they can't throw forward passes.
I will say this, though. Micah Parsons, whatever his sack total is in this game, bet the over. Because the Houston's offensive line can't block shit.
I just think Houston's going to run the ball the whole game with Mixon. And it's going to be like Stroud throws like 17 passes, and they win like 24-7. because the Dallas run defense sucks, and like Stroud's been banged up and they've been struggling. So I just think they're going to run the ball, and then
they cooled off a lot.
They can't be threatened by them at all. Any weekend plans? We're about to get out of here in a second.
No, I'm just chilling this weekend. I need a chill week.
Well, I'm going to. Okay, I got a couple fun ones. I think I'm coming out of poker retirement tomorrow. World Series of Poker, $1,700 shot to Chicago main event going on at Grand Victoria Casino in Elgin, about 30 minutes west. I think I'm going to go play the Friday, day one, and if I make day two, it's Sunday. And if I don't, I'll be here for the stream.
Yep.
And but if I make day two, I'm in the money of a huge tournament, so it's a can't-lose situation. I'm going to Ohio State Northwestern at Wrigley Field.
No shit.
11 a.m. You want to go? I want to go.
Ohio State?
Yeah, at Wrigley. 11 a.m. start Saturday. Weather doesn't look bad. It's like mid-50s.
Like the Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
Men's football.
Playing at Wrigley Field.
At Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
I know. And so I was thinking I'm going to go. I want to see Ohio State play at Wrigley Field, and then our partners at DraftKings have that spot right next door. So I'm thinking go to Ohio State Northwestern and then go watch LSU Florida at DraftKings.
Yeah. That's not a bad
I think
plan.
we got a nice little Saturday, and then Sunday, hopefully I'm playing day two of the Chicago main, but if I'm not, I'm on the stream here. And so I can't really go wrong.
No, it can't.
Kind of feels like a good weekend. Well, we're about to get out of here. Want to join? We got to get out of here early because Dave Portnoy's here with John Gruden, and they've got the Unnamed show, and so we've got a hard out. Shout out Nicky Smokes. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Wake Up Mintzy. We appreciate our Dude Wipes and Still Blue sponsorships. Let's have a hell of a weekend. And you know what? Hey, when you're hot, you're hot. I'm hot in life. Let's see if I can make a run at this poker tournament. Thanks to Tyler Moody for holding it together. Dude Wipes for cleaning up all our messes. Man, I love fall. The leaves are changing, football, and Stella Blue coffee. And this season, maple pumpkin pie. But my morning routine would not be complete without Dumpkin Spice Dude Wipes.
Oh, Mintzy, let it rip.
Cheers, furry fellas. Coffee that fuels you, wipes that clean you.